Okay.
Hi, this is Mrs. B.
And Auntie.
What are we doing today?
We're flappers.
We're flappers.
Yes. Well, we always wanted to dress up. We played dress up when we were little kids a little bit, didn't we? And we miss it.
This is what you call wannabe flappers, I guess.
Yeah.
Tell me, I understand that
Yes.
you have actually been to
It's hard to be a flapper.
speakeasies. Tell me about that.
Oh, we were on vacation one year with Terry's brother, and we went to Seattle. And after we went to the fish market, you know, where they throw the fish at people. Oh, well, if you order a fish, you have to stand back like 10, 15 feet and let the guy behind the counter throw it at you.
I never went there.
Well, anyway, so we couldn't afford the fish, so we went on a speakeasy tour, which is like...
Did you speak easy?
I was careful. It was different than I thought. You know, like you go to the beautiful city of Seattle. Beautiful mountains, right?
Okay.
I've
never been there.
Lush greenery, like Oregon.
I want to go there.
Like Oregon.
Oregon's beautiful.
And so we're going, you know, the speakeasies were underground.
True. I've been, never mind.
There's a whole network of these tunnels under the city, the pretty city that, you know, I wanted to see. And we were going from one cement room to another, all through the whole town, and each one had a little bar in it and a few little stools in it and everything. That's where they used to go.
They were underground like that because they were underground. They were illegal. And there was doors with the deal where you're supposed to give the password and all that. And finally, we got to the ground level, and we're able to see some other stuff. But, you know, speakeasies would be kind of a hard thing to live with, I think. They went to the door.
Yes.
And you had to give a password.
What's the password?
I don't know.
Speakeasy. No, I don't know. What is a good password? I mean, not one that you use, but I have a hard time with passwords for my computer stuff because I'm not clever in that way. I mean,
yes, she is. Yes, she is. You could not. You can't hack her stuff, okay?
Oh yeah,
Don't you love our stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Auntie here.
Yes.
Procured them for us.
Yes. Every once in a while, I find something cute.
Yes. We really like these. We want to go somewhere in them, but I think
do we have the nerve?
Would really think we're crazy.
We could go.
Your phone's ringing.
I know. Oh, I don't know.
And now mine's going.
I don't know. I don't think I want to answer mine.
I think mine's not important, but it's interesting that they both went off at the same time.
What do you think's up?
Nothing.
Are they not wanting us to talk about speakeasies?
It's the government.
You know, I said something about, Terry came in the room and he says, I need to get some pump floats for the water features. And all of a sudden, all over my computer was pump floats.
Uh-oh.
Then he said something about, he didn't realize that had happened. He said something about, I don't need some valves. And then the next page was all valves. I'm like, what?
We had a salesman come to our door a couple of days ago, wanted to turn our house into a smart home.
Oh,
I said no.
No. I don't want my house smarter than me. That wouldn't take a lot. Oh, can I drink without this getting away?
I wonder.
I can't see to drink. Coffee.
I know everybody thinks there's something else in our drinks, but this is just us.
That's just us.
This is us.
We hadn't seen each other.
This is our first video since before I had surgery back in April.
And this is July.
It was April 27th was my, or 26th was my surgery.
Wow, that's a long time.
Was it April or May? I bet it was May. No, it was April. It was April, so it's been a long time.
And I'm so happy I don't hardly know how to act.
We haven't posted. I think I posted a couple of updates on myself, but then I have just, we've gone totally silent.
Yeah. We're seeing if you care. Hey, how is your back surgery recovery?
It's wonderful. I'm still going to, I'm going to physical therapy again to strengthen my back. Not, it's for the muscles. But no, everything's really great.
I need to see if I have any muscles.
I know I have them because they sure get sore from not using them.
Yeah.
Then you try to use them.
I was like, oh, I'm in so much pain. And Terry says, what's the deal? You know, is my legs and my arms? I don't know. And he says, is a fibro hurting you again? And I said, no, this is different. And he came and he looked at my arm. He says, wait. You're trying to build muscles. And it wasn't like with weights, it's like walking.
Oh, you have been busy.
Yeah,
you have been very active. In fact, Mr. T, I think, thought that she could go from 0 to 100 in 1 or 2 days. And I told her, I said, no, you got to build up to it. You can't do it all at once because you've been 2 or 3 years or more not being able to do much at all.
I'm housebound almost.
Well, there for a while you were bedridden almost.
That's true. Yeah.
So you can't go from 0 to 100.
He's so excited.
Yes.
But he said, okay, let's ride the motorcycle. Well, I have to tell you about what I did talk to you about this.
Yes, but you need to share with our viewers here.
I have not been a motorcycle rider, basically hardly at all. Probably 4 times on the 5, maybe on the back of a motorcycle. And so Terry gets this good motorcycle, and so he's wanting me to ride with him, and I'm okay, except I don't know how to ride like a rider.
And you also got new full face helmets.
Yes.
With sun visors and clear, a shade and a clear, so you can do either one.
Yes.
That's important to know.
And, you know, it's all like, I have a hard time even getting the helmet off. Or I'm learning. Okay. So we were on our way to this lake that had been dry, and it's been raining like cats and dogs for weeks. And we wanted to see the lake, and I'm riding behind him, and my head's going like this.
It was also a windy day.
Yeah, but I thought, I don't know how to hold my head on my shoulders, and I finally got my head. I was holding on, and I had my arm up like this across the helmet, and I was hanging on. And I was praying, and I said, Lord, I'm not having any fun. That's the only way I could be without my head. I was like a wobblehead. And so I said, I'm not having any fun, Lord. So anyway, we stop, and Terry's helping me off. I couldn't hardly walk. I was like so worn out. And he goes, what is it? What's with you? I said, I'm not having any fun. And he goes, I couldn't have shot him and made him look more hurt. And he goes, well, what's the deal? And I said, well, my head is about to just knock off of my shoulders. And he says, well, let me see your helmet. And he is looking under the helmet, and it wasn't fastened very tight. It was loose. Mm-hmm. And then he gets a hold of it and goes like, it was like this. He said, this will fix it. And I go, okay. And I'm like, if it doesn't choke me to death, I'll be fine. And I'd rather it choke me to death
Then decapitate you.
than to have my head knocked off, you know. So anyway, it was still pretty snug, and we headed back home, and I was hanging on, and I'm like, I'm having fun. Thank you, God, I'm having fun. And that's such a simple thing that messes you. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to mess me up.
Well, riding a motorcycle with a helmet, if it's loose or too big, it can catch. The wind will catch it, and you feel like it's going to pull your head off. That's why I had to get smaller helmets for myself. But it can happen if they're just not hooked too. So
yeah,
but
I mean, my helmet is really big.
Well, you also had to learn how to get on the motorcycle.
Yeah, he said I was going to have to learn how to be a high kicker. Well, let me tell you,
that goes with flappers.
Yes, it
does. Sorry,
but I have like a 28-inch inseam or less.
Yes.
And that is like a 35-inch kick.
I know. I have to, if I'm riding with someone else, I have to step up on the side of the motorcycle and then go over. But I also cannot just throw my leg over the back like I see so many people do.
Yeah. Well, I stand on that thing, and my leg won't go
high enough to
do that. So I can get on because I can stand, but to get off, he has to get off first, and I have to lay that little seat down so I can make my leg go. So it's a process.
It's an adventure.
Yes,
it's an adventure.
And people look at us and they see us gray-headed people getting. We take off our helmets, and they're like.
Yeah, I know. I like riding my motorcycle and taking my helmet off, and people are surprised that it's a little old lady.
Yeah, from Pasadena. No. She's not from Pasadena.
So, since my surgery, since our last, my gosh, I don't even know what our last coffee time was.
Oh, no.
But it's been several months, and we've done a lot of different things. I mean, we haven't done them together.
No.
But I know.
You've been all the way to the east.
Yes, I went to Ohio for a week. It was wonderful.
And for a graduation.
It was for a graduation party. They graduated when I had surgery.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get to see that. I have twin grandchildren that graduated high school, and so we got to go to their graduation party several weeks or months, whatever, after, and it was really wonderful.
1 week either before or after your trip, I was thinking we'd get together, but we had to go to Denver to a graduation.
Yes, you got to go to the graduation.
Yeah, and the party. While we were in Colorado, my husband wanted to take me to this big lake, and he rented a speedboat.
He ran into it?
He rented it.
Oh,
I might have said ran into it.
I don't think, was that a speedboat? I thought, oh well.
It was a ski boat.
Okay.
It was a ski boat. He acted
you
like
need to put that on the...
Oh, a link to that.
Yeah, you should do
I'll
that.
need to do that.
She videoed, and you need to see that.
And he would turn so sharp, and it's a mountain lake, and it's icy water, and it would spray me. It wouldn't spray him because he's on the other side. And then he'd take off going really fast, and I would be like that. And the people that own the Hallmark network and books and all that stuff, they owned a cabin on that lake.
He's an adrenaline addict.
He is. I mean, honestly.
For his age, he is 66, right?
7.
Oh, he's 67.
I keep thinking we're 66, but we're 67.
And you would think
15.
he was a lot younger from the way he acts. And actually, the shape he's in, you would think he is a lot younger than he is.
Oh, the other day. My brother was over, and he had all the people up on the hill Even the zip line. He built a zip line, 500-foot zip line.
Her husband has a zip line on their property.
Well, it has you go down it. It's all regulation type stuff except for getting off.
Yes, you enter at your own risk. You have to sign a waiver. I will not sue.
Well, then they hook you on when you're at the other side, and then they pull you back to the beginning place.
I've rode it. I've done it.
Yes. Well, my great niece got on there.
Oh, she did.
Tab did, yeah. And her arms weren't really strong enough to hold on to the straps to hold herself upright, so she kept slipping. And she was like upside down.
Did she like this when she got off?
No. Anyway, Terry sees her. He goes, "Oh, there she blows!" And he's at the top of this 500-foot long thing, and he's running down the valley trying to catch up with her.
Oh.
And he was expecting her to get off up there. Is why he was up there instead of at the bottom. And so she had ridden a couple of times, and then she just didn't get off when she was supposed to. And so she started taking out downhill again. Well, here he is, 67, and he's running like the Flash.
Yeah.
He's like... Everybody's like dying laughing and screaming at the same time. It's very stressful. And I'm up at the porch, my front porch, and I'm going...
Yeah, she's quite a ways away from
What are they doing? Yeah, all, acres away. And I'm like, what are they doing? Away? Justin and Pauline, my nephew and niece, were on the porch with me, and we were watching this unfold. And well, maybe Justin wasn't there, but Pauline was, and I said, "This is not going to end well."
It was scary.
It was very scary, but she did stop. We have tires for the braking system. Anyway, she hit the tires, and he didn't have. Why he was running is because nobody had spread the tires out again, and she was going to.
Oh.
Her feet hit the last tire. Anyway, it was not a good thing. Anyway, but he was taking off running. And this guy that was a guest of my brother's goes, "That man can run." And I'm like, he's just all...
I have ridden that.
Crazy.
And it's really fun. And at the end, there's tires laying horizontally,
yeah, and they bump into
they're
each other.
far apart, and so if they slide into one another, and that's what slows you down or stops you.
Yeah.
And when I rode, Terry, her husband, rode a motorcycle from the top to the bottom to get there before we got there to make sure everything was good. Yeah. And so to think that he was having to run.
Yes, it was hilarious. I mean, in a bad way. I shouldn't have said it.
But she had fun the first couple of times she did it, or she wouldn't have kept going.
Right. So, and I was making spaghetti. Oh, my goodness. I thought it was just going to be a quick little deal, and it turned out to be a really long deal. So my spaghetti got done. I had drained it, and I was going to see how it was doing. And it was in a great big pot. And so I got my spoons like this, and Justin and Pauline are in there with me. And I'm trying to lift out like a spoonful, and it was the whole kettle.
It all stuck together.
It was all stuck. And Pauline said, "I did not know this would work. Put hot water in it."
I didn't know that either.
Really?
I did not know that. What'd you do? Was your faucet hot enough, or did you have to heat some in the microwave or something?
Well, the faucet was really hot, and it just kind of fell apart. And I was so happy because they said, "We will serve it for you." And Justin got the big forks and served it to everybody when they came in.
I'm sure you were flustered.
I was like, well, he was running across the pasture.
You were overwhelmed with everything going on. and they came to your rescue.
Yes.
How wonderful. But that's something I learned because I didn't know that
I did not know that. And Terry come in, and he, I have babied him pretty much. Like when I make him spaghetti, I mix the meat sauce with it.
We're from an older generation, as you can tell, and women served their husbands. Yes. I remember my mom and my dad, and my mom always fixed my dad a plate and set it on the table. If we weren't eating I know she didn't serve it on the table, but if for some reason she had to carry the plate to him or something, he was always served.
Yes.
And so we did the same thing to a point.
Yes.
There's sometimes I don't.
Well, that was under my nose like this.
I wonder if it should have been centered all the way over. I don't know. Hey, tell us which way this should go. I thought it was on this side, like she had it.
Anyway.
Something. Anyway, I feel like I have a long enough nose that I didn't need all these little dots.
You do not have a long nose. I have a short
tip of my nose. Hey, my husband says I have a hook nose. He said,
"Oh, do not."
I know what he's talking about, but I don't like it.
He came in and he saw this spaghetti, and Justin gave him a serving, and Terry turns and looks at me and he says, "Where's the sauce? Why didn't you put sauce on this?" I said, "It's in the pan right next to the spaghetti." I think my brother might have heard me say that and thought I was being mean to my husband. But I was tired.
Well.
And I thought, look, divert your eyes just half an inch and you'll see it.
Well, I sometimes mix it. Sometimes I don't. Yeah. Depends on who's here and exactly what I am serving.
Well, there were some people there that weren't family members, and I thought, well, when you get it at a restaurant, it's usually not mixed together, so I'll try to be like a restaurant.
Right. It's usually the spaghetti sitting there, and then they have
the
sauce on the top. But I do mine that way sometimes. Sometimes I don't. But Uncle Harry just didn't understand why it was that way.
He wanted it all together, but that's all right. We worked through it.
I have to admit, Uncle Jim was talking to us, to my husband and I, and he said that he does all the cooking, where he now lives with his daughter and grandchildren, and he says he does the cooking. He says men owe women an apology. For all the years, he says the cooking's not that hard, but having to decide what to cook all the time. Everybody has a different taste. Some people don't like this, some people don't like that. So you have to come up with new ideas every day. I said, yeah, that's the hard part, is trying to keep everybody happy. But I have recently just been doing it.
Yeah.
I used to do that when the kids were little. I didn't say, what does everybody want to eat?
No.
Never. I just fixed it, and this is what you had.
Now, do you have any tips of how to come up with something interesting or different, or do you do anything?
Tips? No. I just look at the refrigerator and cabinets and see what I have, and I mix something together. Like last night, we ended up having, I'm kind of tired of hamburger meat. And I am not on carnivore right now, so I had some shell macaroni and I had some tuna fish. So I made a tuna salad.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
Fried potatoes. That's all we had for supper last night.
That sounds like a good idea.
But I'm so tired of hamburger meat. My husband only eats hamburger meat. He'll eat a steak once in a while.
He doesn't really care for chicken.
He will not. I mean, every once in a great while, you might convince him to eat chicken.
What about tuna? Does he?
He likes tuna.
He likes tuna. So did he like the shells and tuna?
Yeah, that's just something we have every once in a while. I put shell macaroni and the tuna. Then we use Miracle Whip, and sweet relish.
Oh yeah,
and onion powder and salt.
I like to use the relish, that way you don't have to cut it up.
Exactly. That's why I use sweet relish.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all it is. And
like even potato salad, I do that sometimes because
I always do that. I am lazy.
It's been 100 years since I made potato salad.
The easiest way you can do it is the way I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
it's quicker.
Do you still do the sweet?
Yes,
the sweet potato.
My potato salad is sweet. It's not sweet potatoes, but it's sweet.
Yeah. People act like that's almost a sacrilege.
Oh, some people, but you have to warn them because just like us, we get used to the sweet potato salad.
And then if you dip out the sour kind, the dill kind, you're like, whoa,
what is this? I like them both.
Yeah, I do too.
But my family love that sweet potatoes. Sweet.
You know where that potato salad from the Alvards came in is my Aunt Gertie married a Russian guy, and his mother made that potato salad, and they just scarfed that recipe up.
That is funny.
As the family.
I'd always heard it was a German potato salad.
Yeah.
But it's Russian. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was,
That is very interesting. So now I can say it's Russian.
Say it's from the mother country.
Well, my mother country is the good old US of A.
Mine too.
my pronouns are USA.
Do you know, honestly, that story is kind of old, so it could have gone through a bunch of transitions.
It could have.
So depending on how mad they were at the in-laws.
I wish I had my mother's little recipe box. She didn't really go by a lot of recipes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it done me any good or not. But I try to copy her stuff.
Mm-hmm. But that's how Geraldine was. She'd just have it in her head. She'd remember and just throw this and that. But I really kind of have to go by recipe because I've made some awful mistakes.
Well, it just depends on what it is.
Yeah. I can make tater soup without a recipe.
Yeah.
But, that's when we're real poor. We have tater soup.
Now, I like the potato soup from Saltgrass.
Oh, yeah.
The restaurant. It is so good. It's got cheese in it and stuff. Anything with cheese in it.
It's good.
It's got cheese, and I think it has bacon in it. Mm. And so I did hunt up a recipe for the Saltgrass potato soup. And
was it a lot like ours?
No.
It's
a different soup.
Yes.
Okay. So it's really, really, really good. And that was really good too. But
that's neat that they had it where you could look it up.
Yeah. And I kind of tweaked it a little bit, and Clifford loves it. He thinks, he calls it my potato soup.
Well, if you tweaked it, it's yours.
Okay. But there's different things we do that, make things ours, I guess.
Yes.
But what do you do for coming up with something different, especially on carnivore? She's still on carnivore. Do you even have any idea how many days you've been on carnivore?
Let's see. 140.
Cool.
Or maybe 139.
Well, you started like the 1st of February, wasn't it?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
About a month after I did.
Yeah.
Which I dropped off when I had surgery. And I'll tell you what, I have tried to start it over again and over again. And I haven't been able to stick with it. So what I'm thinking, if I do start, there's no if. When I do start again, I'm going to video me again just because it kept me honest.
Yeah. It's having to answer to people is,
Well, and it's different answering to y'all than it is my husband. My husband, he's like, I thought you were dieting. Just for that, I'm going to eat a piece of cake. Not really. But yes, seriously, if I'm eating something, I am one that you do not tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. When it's
like an unbiased voice, then you're not emotionally attached to where, you rebel. You know, you don't like to disappoint people, but.
Well, at his last doctor's appointment, he's pre-diabetic. Ooh. So, as much as we have discussed him doing this with me, maybe him doing the keto, which is going to be hard. He does not like chicken. And to me, chicken is one of the best things to alternate with your beef. Mm-hmm. But he likes eggs. He likes hamburger meat. Mm-hmm. He does like steak, but...
Do you know what is really, really weird?
He likes fish.
Since I've done the carnivore, my taste buds are so strong. I taste everything like in stereo, but I can't take chicken.
She says since she started carnivore, let's get this straight. Are you ready? Since you did the what is it? Electrolytes.
Yeah.
You overdid your electrolytes, and she damaged her tongue.
I did something. Yeah, it got really fat and big and swollen. And maybe some of y'all saw it, and it was not pretty.
No, you were in bad shape,
in bad pain,
and ever since
I was like,
ever since then.
Everything tastes
changed. Yes.
Yeah, everything tastes.
Don't overdo the electrolyte, the salt.
Well, what I did was I got the salt drops because I was cheap. I didn't get the element at that time.
Yes.
And I thought, well, if 4 drops are good, a dropper full will be better. And I forgot whether I put a dropper full in, so I added another one.
Oh,
so that's
no.
My whole mouth was like crusty. That's gross. Anyway, but I was like,
yes, she was talking to me, the next few days, and she was in bad shape. It lasted for several days.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I finally can shut my mouth and contain my tongue.
You never know what's going to happen with this girl.
Hey.
Well, they always say if a little helps, a whole lot will really make a difference.
Really help. Well, everything does taste like you can really taste things. So. But chicken, something about it. So. But I have what I usually eat is bacon and sometimes an egg and maybe a little bit of hamburger meat and a little tiny piece of steak. But it's, I'm getting to where I get full pretty fast.
Are you still on the once a day, the 23 hours, or you do 2 meals a day?
I do like before I came over here, I ate a piece of bacon and a cheese stick, 2 cheese sticks, and that will do me till 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So and some days I can't wait. I eat when I wake up. So
right. Are you still getting the fat you need?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting when I feel like I'm not having enough fat, I'll get some of the fatty hamburger meat. Terry's been actually buying the fatty hamburger meat, so that really helps, and then the bacon helps.
Do you still put butter on stuff?
Yes, I put butter in my coffee. And I use the little whipping thing. What is that thing called? It's a stick.
I forget what it's called.
A stick blender thing. And actually, I showed Terry how to do it, and he kind of thinks it's fun, so he'll fix my coffee with the stick blender. And it makes a little foam on the top, and it makes me feel like I'm in a coffee shop. But it makes the butter taste like sweet. It tastes different than just having it floating in the cup. I know, I thought, ooh, butter and coffee. But honestly, when you whip it like that, it's kind of like cream.
When I do it and just melt it in there, I don't care for it. So.
Yeah.
So I have to do it the way she describes, which I have not done. But when I did the carnivore, I was putting, several pats of butter on like the hamburger patty or whatever I was eating. I ate mostly hamburger patty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That one guy said you weren't eating enough calories. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Oh, really?
You have to get a certain amount of calories a day or your body thinks you're starving.
Okay.
And that will stop your weight loss also.
Okay.
But I think she may be down to where she needs to be.
I mean,
you're really pretty small.
I reached the first of the goals for somebody my age and height. But I mean, the range is 20 pounds.
Well, so, I have read that your body will stop when
it's ready.
When it thinks. Now, but then how does that explain these people that are too thin?
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
It probably is like if you're being mindful of what you're eating and stuff, and not trying to. If it's
nutritious, nutrition. Yeah.
I was listening to some guys on the radio or YouTube about the carnivore, and they were kind of talking about stuff like that, about how, like as long as you have the fat and the protein equal, that your body will be healthy and things like that. So
let me tell you,
it is what it is.
We went, as we said earlier, I went to Ohio. I think I told you about this. Not sure I did.
She sat by the pool while she was there.
Excuse me. Yes, but our flight up there was wonderful. I mean, we didn't have any problems with our flight up there that I can remember. But on our flight back, we were almost to Cincinnati to get to the airport, and I got the little notice that our flight had been delayed and they had rebooked us for the next morning. So we had to turn around and drive back another hour to where we lived.
At your son's house.
Yes, we went ahead. My son was taking us, and we had to turn around and go back to his house. And so they had booked us for 6 o'clock in the morning, and we just didn't want to have to get up that early and come back, so we rebooked it for 10. So we get over there, and it's delayed again for 11. But we just let us off. We'll go ahead and go. And then it's like 12. It just keeps getting postponed, delayed. Well, we finally I can't remember what time we got on the flight, and we did not take any luggage. We had to check. We only took carry-on luggage because we have lost luggage several times. And they always brought it back, found it and got it to us. So, I don't have a problem with that, but we didn't want to have to go through that.
Right.
So on our flight back from Cincinnati to Dallas, we couldn't sit together. We were like 10 seats apart, 10 rows apart.
Terry loves that. He gets to meet new people.
And they stuck us, both of us, in the middle. We didn't have windows or aisle seats. We were in the middle. And, I forgot. No, that was it. So on I had nice people. This person, no. On the way up there, this is the thing on the way up there. My husband was by the window, and I was in the middle. I'm being nice to him and have him have the window because he likes to look out the window.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting in the middle, and there's this man beside me. Every time he opens his mouth, his breath is so bad.
I didn't hear this part of your story.
Oh my gosh, it was bad. He didn't even have to be looking at me or talking to me, but it was so bad that by the end of the flight, I'm turned sideways in my seat like this, talking to my husband, trying to
close your.
And he said at the very first, he says, "Give him a mint. See if he wants a mint." So I get mints out, and I give my husband one. "Here, you want a mint?" And then I take a mint, and then I turn to him and said, "You want a mint?" And he said, "Oh, no."
Oh, no. Here, you need this mint.
Well, I talked about it with my daughter-in-law later and said, I'd never see him again. I should have said, "Yes, you need this mint." Now I'm very conscious of it, and I'm thinking, I bet I have terrible breath right now, and I need to take a mint so you don't have to smell my breath. So anyway, that was the thing going up on the way up there. And on the way back, we were split up, and that, was no big deal. I had a man on one side and a nice girl on the other side, and it was fine the whole time. And then from Dallas to, oh, no, when we landed in Dallas, we got off, here we didn't sit in the same rows. So we got off, and I go to the restroom, and we have to walk quite a ways to the next.
And your husband has COPD, so
yes, he does.
He has to be careful of walking.
Yes,
a lot.
And we finally get to that place, and we sit down, and he decides he needs to go to the restroom, so he takes off. And while he's gone, I'm talking to the lady sitting next to me, and she's getting notices on her phone, and I'm getting notices on my phone. So I notice her phone, what it says, and she is on a different flight. She's going back to Ohio.
Oh.
But we're scheduled at the same gate. Different flights. I'm going to Amarillo, and she's going to Ohio at the same gate, at the same time, different flights.
Oh,
I'm like, there's something wrong here. Well, by the time my husband comes back, I get a message that says go to another gate. So we get up, and we have to go farther away. And when we get there, my husband goes looking for his phone. He can't find his phone. He said, maybe I left it in the restroom. So he goes back, and there's a man in there, and he tries to talk to him about his phone. Well, he doesn't speak English. And so he says, like, my phone. And the guy tries to hand him his phone. He says, no, I can't find my phone. So he comes back. He says, I guess I lost my phone. Can't find it anywhere. I said, well, I guess we'll just have to get you a new one. I said, maybe it's at the other gate. And I thought, well, I'll just go ask over here. I couldn't remember what gate we were at.
Oh.
So I went up there, and there was nobody there. And up comes this woman, and she was a flight attendant. I said, are you working here? She says, no, but I'm the flight attendant on the flight to Amarillo. I said, that's the one we're going on. And I explained to her what the deal is. And she says, well, you'll need to talk to somebody here, whoever works the counter, and they can get hold of the cleaning crew and see where they put it in Lost and Found. And so I think, okay, but there's nobody around. So I think, I'll just run back to that gate. Because I, even though I didn't know the number, I knew what the gate looked like, and the restroom was directly across. Mm-hmm. So, because that's where I went. So I take off, and I can't go real fast, but I'm going as fast as I can and passing people. And I get there, and there's a line at the counter. I have to wait for that line. And the man in front of me turns, and we start talking, and the guy at the gate at the counter walks away, and that guy in line says that this is a whole different flight. I said, how do you know that? And he says, well, he just went to meet the plane. Oh. So it's a different plane at that gate. I know this is the right gate. He says, they're not going to have it because it's not the right plane. Oh. And they switch out counter people as well as
the crew.
And so I can't get it. So I run back, and when I run back, the lady's there at the counter. So I go up to her, and I explain what's going on. She said, I can't help you. You have to go back to the other gate. I said, I just went there. They don't have it. And she said, well, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, that steward, flight attendant, is sitting there, and she sees me, and I'm like throwing my hands up, and I walk away. Excuse me. I walk away, and I go sit down. I go tell my husband, this lady said that. This lady said, I was frustrated. And this woman, this flight attendant comes up and taps me on the shoulder and says, I couldn't find you because I didn't recognize you from behind my hair. Excuse me. Anyway, she says, I sat there and I listened to that, and I don't think she understood what you're asking, so I explained to her. So once you come back over here, so sure enough, I'm like, thank you very much, and I go over there, and all they're doing is trying to figure out, well, I guess what you can do, because you've already been over there, they didn't have it. I'm like, well, I didn't go into detail about they didn't have it, but you'll just have to contact this airline.com and lost item. I tell them what it is you lost, and they'll get it back to you.
Mm.
But then there's this man standing there. He is also I thought he was a counter person, but he ended up being on the flight, so he must have been a
steward.
A flight attendant also.
Oh, okay.
And he says, here, he looks it up because I took my pass and showed him what gate it was and stuff. Well, see, what they did is they changed our arrival gate.
Oh.
From where we were supposed to go, 10 gates away. It was 37 is where we got off, and it was 27 where we were originally scheduled to disembark. He says, you go down there, tell them the whole story, and if you see someone with a badge like mine, even if they're over by a different door or something, you go talk to them and tell them what the deal is. He said, I said, but the flight's about to load and take off. He says, you've got 10 minutes. It's going to load in 10 minutes, and we take about another 10 minutes to load. So you got 20 minutes to get down there and get back, or we leave you behind. I'm like, he's like, yeah, you'll make it. So I take off. Run by, tell my husband, I'm going, I'll be back. Here's my phone, blah, blah. I said, you go. If I get left behind, you go ahead and go. And I run down as fast as I can, and I pass the first place. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. So I finally get down there, and there's one person in line. And she talks and talks. I'm like, come on, hurry. And they talk and talk. And finally, she walks away, and the lady at the counter, I explained to her, and she says, what's the phone number? I said, well, she's, what's phone number? I'll call it. I said, but it's turned on airplane. It won't ring. She says, just give me the number. Tell me what it is, and I'll call it. I'm like, okay. So I call it, and it rings in her hand. She has it in her hand, and I hadn't even noticed it.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, thank you. Sorry, but I'm tangled.
Uh-oh.
I got it. Did I get it?
Pretty much. Let's see.
But anyway, it was in her hand. Drop it. It's okay now. Just plug it back in. It was in her hand, and I'm, oh, thank you. And I said, I want to give you a hug, but I won't. And I walked off, and I'm not running. I'm walking as fast as I can to get back, and I'm about halfway there, and I'm about to die. Just about.
It's a lot of gates.
Yeah, the Dallas DFW is a big place. Well, then I see one of those little carts.
People mover.
A people mover, yes. And there's nobody on it, but he passes me, and I'm like, oh, I got to catch him. Well, he pulls over. So I catch up to him and said, are you going to, I think I was like gate 1 or something like that. I mean, it is way down there. And he says, yeah, get on. I said, does it cost very much? Because I didn't have any money with me, right? And he says, just get on. And then he stays because he's talking to this Asian family, and they said they need 5 seats or something, and there's 6 seats on this thing. And then someone says, but one more, we need one more. And I'm thinking, well, if they need this seat, I'll get off. I just need to know so I can go. And they're like, no, you stay right there. And anyway, come find out, they only needed the 5 seats. They finally get on, and here we go. And I'm sitting at the very front. And there's people coming crazy at us. I'm like, move. And instead of that man honking his little horn or making a beeping sound or whatever, the other Asian peoples are going, what are they going? Beep, beep. And it's just hilarious. People are looking at us like we're crazy. And then he has to slow down, and I'm never going to make it in time. Well, finally, I see the gate, and I said, just let me off right here. He said, no, we'll do a kid. He would not stop. And he passes my husband. My husband's sitting right here. And he passes him, but thankfully, he stops right in front of the gate. I get off, and I go to back to where my husband is, and he can't believe that we found the phone. Then we have to get in line, and there's that man that sent me down there. So I go up, and I do hug him. I'm like, we found it. Thank you very much. And then...
and you give the best hugs.
Well, I don't know if it was that kind of hug.
You give a good hug.
Then we get on the plane. No, it was I hugged the first lady. I didn't hug him. I hugged the first flight attendant and said, I must have hugged him because I got on the that's what it was. I did not hug him, but I did tell him thank you, that we got it, and I couldn't believe it. And then we got on the plane, and we were putting our luggage up, and the flight attendant that first saw us, she noticed me before I noticed her, and she says, did you get it? And I'm like, yes, thank you. So I run down the aisle, and I give her a hug, and then come back and finish what we were doing, and then go back and sit down. But that was amazing.
I can't even believe
that they had it in her hand.
In her hand. Oh my
so saved us $1,000. You know how iPhones are expensive.
Yeah. And you know, having all the numbers on there and everything, you just don't want
that's what it was. The main thing is he didn't want to lose his information.
Yeah.
But that was very eventful. That was very eventful.
It can't ever just be like and done, can it?
But we're so grateful, grateful that I can't believe to this day that she had it in her hand.
In her hand. Do you think she knew it was her? Yeah.
She probably had an idea.
But
I mean, that's probably the only phone on that plane. Probably. I mean, and the fact that I didn't even notice it, because he has a case. He carries it on his belt. But this time he didn't.
Oh.
He just had it hooked on his pocket or something. So when he got up, it stayed. And he didn't. That's crazy that he didn't notice it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those long ones that lays horizontal. And anyway, we got it. So that was very exciting for us.
I like that story.
It turned out well, at least. Yes. At least.
Yes.
And then recently, when we got back, a week or so later, we went to the family reunion.
Oh, yeah.
And we had fun. She was there.
Yes. We may have to show you our costume from that.
Yes, we probably will.
Yes.
Do another little video and show you what we did.
Now, see, Mrs. B is really very reserved and very...
It doesn't seem like it, does it?
But, I mean, her nature is to try not to be seen.
I do not like to draw attention to me. I don't.
So, I got a costume for each of us that would pull us out of our comfort zone.
I told her, I said, this is only for close family and friends or YouTube.
Well, you're close family and friends.
We
right?
feel that way.
We have missed you very much.
Really, it doesn't seem
Isn't
like
that crazy that you miss people that you've never laid eyes on?
Well, that's what I think I said that in one of my last videos that I did do. Is we feel close to everyone, even though we don't talk to you, and it seems so weird. I mean, we talk to you, but we don't.
I've been having computer problems with my connection, so I haven't been getting on the comments and answering comments for a long time.
We've got to get better.
Yes.
We're going to basically have to not start anew, but get better about what we put on and scheduling more often.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, this one has been, I don't know, a long time. I don't know. I'm trying to look on our thing here to see how long it's been. Oh, almost an hour.
Uh-oh.
So
Well,
I
that's
guess we
all
better
right.
get off of here.
That's all right.
Yeah, this is our coffee time. So
Yes.
you're used to us by now.
And I finished my coffee, so there's just a little bit.
We are going to possibly do a reaction to flappers.
Oh, yes.
The way we're dressed today.
Yes.
And this is all Auntie's doing. We shall see you
Bye-bye.
again. If I turn this off right. Bye-bye.